Okay, so I've been seeing a lot of feedback about story mode being too easy, and honestly, I totally agree with that. However, we also need to remember that we're just getting started. This is only chapter 1, and the main purpose of this story is basically to show us how Tower Defense Simulator started. Maybe once we progress through more chapters, the difficulty will increase and the game will become much harder. That's definitely possible since we're still at the beginning of the story. There's also another thing we need to take note of. Chapter 1 is not even finished yet. The update next week will add missions 5 to 8, which are still part of chapter 1. After that, the developers said we can expect more information about chapter 2, and I actually misunderstood this at first. I thought the missions we currently have were the entire of chapter 1 and that chapter 2 would be coming next week, but that's not the case. Some players are also complaining that the developers should have released the entire chapter in single update. Right now, you can basically finish half of chapter 1 in less than 15 minutes, especially if you're using timescale. And since next week's update is still going to continue chapter 1, I wouldn't be surprised if those missions are also relatively easy. But if the developers are listening to the community's feedback, I'm pretty sure they can improve the difficulty once we reach chapter 2. This is the first time TDS has introduced a game mode like this, so obviously the developers are still gathering feedback and figuring out what works and what doesn't. I agree that chapter 1 is too easy, but I also think we should give the developers some time to improve story mode. I'm pretty sure future chapters won't be as easy as the first one. That being said, I do agree with the players who wanted the entire chapter to be released in one update. It would make the story feel more complete instead of leaving us waiting halfway through chapter 1. But we'll have to wait and see what happens next. If you guys have any thoughts about story mode, feel free to share them in the comments. Maybe some of the developers will see your feedback and take it into consideration.